Kia ora, welcome to Under the Checkered Flag, MotoGP edition. I'm your host Kate, and we're just going to jump right in.
It is Kate and Kelly here because PozzA has been at the Race of Champions celebrating his birthday, but he has dropped his predictions for Argentina with us, so we will definitely be covering those off so that we can all have a bit of accountability to make sure there's no backyard deals and scheming going on in our podcast championship. To start, it's the news that everyone's really been talking about this past week, and it's the fact that, in somewhat of a surprising move, Pirelli are going to become the official tyre supplier to MotoGP from 2027. It's a 5-year contract, and it lines up when the technical regulations change in 2027. So it's really interesting, and I am quite disappointed we're not going to be seeing the Michelin Man around, and I'm going to miss the photos because we do use a lot of their photos in our podcast video if you watch the video format. But overall, the fact that riders and teams were refusing to test the Michelin tyres and they unanimously vetoed their new tyre compound for this year, I think a change is definitely what's needed, and I'm wondering if you feel the same.
Yeah, honestly, I'm also a bit upset that the Michelin Man is going to be disappearing, especially as I literally, on the same day that this was announced, I had just gotten my little Michelin hat. So it's probably like the worst timing ever. If like I have my little Jorge Martin signature and it's useless now. It's not part of MotoGP anymore. But yeah, I think a change is honestly for the best. It's time. It's it sounds bad, but it's time. I think a change would be good for the sport. It's just sad to see them go.
And one really good thing that we've seen in the last year and a bit is the fact that Pirelli have come in and look really good in Moto 2 and Moto 3, and it's totally shaken up the way that Moto 2 action unfolds, because that was definitely a snooze fest a couple of years ago, but last year was pretty darn exciting. So hopefully we get, a bit of excitement on this as well. Next up, we're going to talk about KTM, because a deal has been reached. Obviously, there's a lot of financial woes going on, but a deal has been reached that KTM will need to find $800 million by the 23rd of May in 2025. So this is because creditors have agreed to accept a 30% payment of money owed to them by this date, and it's basically stopped them from going bankrupt and everything from coming to a halt. Kelly, what do you think this looks like for KTM and MotoGP? Do you think this is a good thing? Do you think they're out of the woods, or is there still going to be more drama to come?
I wouldn't say they're fully out of the woods. It's definitely like a light. It's definitely a look up, progress at least, but they're definitely nowhere near out of the light. I think there's some underlying problems that haven't really been shown yet that need to be sorted out first. But seems like it's going in the right direction for them. So good news to hear.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm inclined to agree. I don't think it's overly promising, but it's definitely a much better position than we were in beforehand. Now, before we move into looking at the week ahead, because obviously we are racing in Argentina, I just want to cover a little bit of housekeeping and ask if you think that Jorge Martin is completely out of the championship fight this year, because it has been confirmed again with a recent injury update that he is definitely out of Argentina and is looking at a COTA return. I, for one, think that he's still got a very outside chance of winning the title, because there will still be 20 races and injuries happen all the time. But what about you? Do you think yes or no?
I'm always one for a bit of like a three-way title fight, but thing is, I'm a bit biased and I would love that third person to be Marco Bezzecchi. It won't be, but I wish. I think I don't think it's completely over for him. I don't think all of the hope is lost, but I definitely think it's a very, very outside chance. Missing the first two rounds of the season, that means he was missed four races. That's detrimental to like your champion, like good championship points. And yeah, unless Mark and Pecco keep being scrappy, I think his chances are diminishing literally every race he misses, every session.
I am actually inclined to agree with the Bezzecchi comment. I do think that if there's an Aprilia rider that's going to be fighting for this title, it is going to be Bezzecchi. Aside from his abysmal start on Saturday last weekend, he did look pretty strong on that Aprilia, and he will have so much more bike time than Jorge Martin. So I'm hoping we do get a title fight, but I'm also kind of not expecting one now. Mark's back on like the best bike and is on form again, which sort of loosely loops in to our predictions. So we didn't go to Argentina last year. I am a little bit surprised it is happening this year, but I'm also really excited because I think it's quite a thrilling track. I'll start with Moto 3 because after his performance last weekend, I'm gonna back my boy and I have put Stefano Nepa in P3. In P2, I put Adrian Fernandez, and in P1, I put Jose Antonio Rueda, with Carpe being my reserve. What about you?
So the way I've done it is I've switched it up a small bit. For third, I've gone for Adrian Fernandez. I think this might be the first time I've ever actually put him on my predictions. So welcome in, Adrian. Yeah, I just put him in. He seems a bit more strong this year than he was last year. I think I'm going to pay a bit more attention to him. So yeah, hopefully a podium. Uh, P2, Anko Paqueras. Yeah, just yeah. I think he'll be a bit quicker this time around. I think he'll get some good points. First might be a bit delusional, but I still have Rueda in first. I really, really want him to win again. In my reserve, you'll be happy. I think you'll be very happy. I have Stefano Nepa. He's a lot faster this year. He's a bit better, so I hope that's how it goes.
I am extremely excited that we are all at least backing Nepa a little bit because obviously I'm a huge fan, and like you said, he does look pretty fast. Because I say we're all backing him, PozzA's prediction has also put Stefano Nefa in P3, so I'm super thrilled because, everyone jump on the Nefa bandwagon and hopefully we will get a podium. Like, please. In P2, he's put Jose Antonio Rueda, and in P1, he has gone for Adrian Fernandez. So we're pretty much all the same riders in different orders, which is quite cool. Kelly, do you want to kick us off with Moto 2?
Okay, so my Moto2 predictions I wouldn't say they've changed dramatically, but I have gone with third with Diogo Moreira. He's a lot quicker than I thought he would be, considering how on and off his last season was. He's just come through like I don't even know what, like a jet. So he's going to be on third. Second, 44 Aaron Canna. I don't think that will change all season. I think I might just leave him there. It'll be beneficial to me. In third, I have no, sorry, not third. In first, I have Manu Gonzalez. Yeah, dominating in Thailand. I think he can dominate here as well. And then at reserve, Barry Baltus. I think this may be a bit of a stretch, but I just want the lad to do well. I really want him to do well, and I hope he does. So yeah, that's mine.
I have to admit, I wasn't sure if Barry was going to make an appearance in any of our predictions this year, so I'm quite glad to get him on the board early. My predictions are quite similar, different order and a different reserve. P3, I've gone for Manu Gonzalez. P2, I'm hoping for some home advantage, even though Dio isn't from Argentina. It's sort of the same area of the world. So I'm just hoping that gives him a bit of a boost for P2. P1, I'm going for Aaron Canet. I know I did it last week and he came in P2, but I'm remarkably hopeful this week. And for my reserve, I've gone for Senna Agius.
Okay, and I'm going to read out PozzA's Moto2 predictions. So for P3, he has gone with Aaron Kenna. He's actually demoted Aaron from his P2 spot, which I think might be a bit of bad luck. But yeah, he has it, Aaron Kenna in P3. P2, he has Manuel Gonzalez, also demoted from his winning spot, so that's going to be something new, I'd like to say. And then in P1, he is Celestino Vieri. I love Celestino to bits. I'm not really sure if that will work for him, but let us pray. And then as his reserve, he has Alonso Lopez. And then moving straight on to MotoGP Sprint, he has gone with Pecco Bagnaia in P3, so been absolutely demoted. He's a lot more delusional than me because he's put Marco Bezzecchi in P2 for the sprint. Let us pray. Please let it happen. And then in P1, he is Marc Marquez. And then, as his reserve, he has Marc's brother, Alex Marquez. Very strong lineup.
He does feel a bit delusional for going Bez P2. That's quite a bold prediction, and we'll see if it pays off for him. My podium is pretty much going to stay the same if recent performances have been anything to go on. For the sprint, I've got Alex Marquez in P3, Pecco Bagnaia in P2, and Marc Marquez in P1. I will be genuinely surprised if we all haven't gone Marc and Marc. I would be, yeah, just very surprised based on last weekend's. But my reserve, I know you're going to hate me for this, Kelly, but I've gone for Franco Morbidelli. I'm still going to be rooting for him this year, even if his actions last weekend were less than desirable, let's say.
I am absolutely disgusted with this behavior. I cannot believe you. Get out. No, I'm being dramatic for the effect. Talking about that, yeah, it was aggressive behavior. Absolutely no need, and just furthers my deepened dislike for him. But I'll stop yapping and I'll move straight into my MotoGP sprint predictions. I went a bit more delusional side as well. I did put Marco Bezzecchi in P3. I want it to happen so bad. I miss him. I really, really miss him. I want him back in the podium. So I've been third. I have Marc Marquez in second, and I have Pecco Bagnaia in first. I do think Pecco can come back with a bit of a fight to Marc, so I hope. So that's why I have him in first, and then as my reserve, I have Marc's brother Alex Marquez. And then straight into my MotoGP feature race. Third again, I have Marco Bezzecchi. I think you can tell I really badly want it to happen. The fangirling is becoming obvious, so I hope it will happen. Second, I have Pecco Bagnaia, and then first I have Marc Marquez. As always, probably will keep them there for the entire season. And then as my reserve, I've gone with a cheeky little bit of Ayagura. I think he can pull off something good this weekend, so I hope it'll be during the feature race.
Well, colour me surprised. I'm actually impressed that you've gone for Agura in as a reserve. That's got me excited, I think, because that would be absolutely awesome to see. So we'll go with PozzA's feature race up next. His P3 is Alex Marquez. P2, he's gone for Pecco Bagnaia. And P1, he's gone for Marc Marquez. Like Kelly, there's clearly some delusion. There's some Bezzecchi love going on here because he's put him as his reserve for the feature race, and I'm just not seeing it. I do think that he'll do well, but I'm thinking only some top 5 performances, so like just around P5, P4. My podium is Pecco Bagnaia in P3, Franco Morbidelli in P2, and Marc Marquez in P1. I just think, yeah, the domination, I think it's going to be kind of a bit 2019-esque. So, Mark for P1, and I have his brother as a reserve as well. That is it from us this week. It's always a bit bizarre when we're down a member on recording because the recording goes by like so much faster because we're not, I suppose, waiting around for all of like those awkward pauses. But I digress. I definitely miss having Poz, and happy birthday, Poz. I hope that you're getting suitably intoxicated. If you're coming back and know as well, let us know if that you think that Kelly is being delusional with her Bezecchi love. And as always, we do want to know your podcast predictions because you could totally beat us for the championship and earn yourself a nice little trophy like Poz did last year. That trophy may still be sitting on my bench top, but I would actually post it if it was a, listener that actually won. But like and subscribe if you're enjoying our content, and we will be back after Argentina with a race review.